proof of your claims, Ambassador. The people of Lordaeron have suffered enough without becoming prisoners in their own lands. Our lands are sacred, but it shall be we who decide how best to protect our people. Now, you. Now, be gone.
Terenas Menethil II was the last true king of the Kingdom of Lordaeron and one of the primary founders of the original Alliance of Lordaeron, which was the first time in almost 3,000 years the human kingdoms were united since the breaking of Arthur. Ruling for over 5 decades, including the period of the Second and Third Wars, Terenas acted as a patron of the alliance and sought to keep it united as political issues had arisen. His death at the hands of his own son Arthas deprived the alliance of its leadership in such a critical moment in history. After the First War, refugees from the Kingdom of Stormwind, led by Sir Anduin Lothar, accompanied by Prince Varian and Khadgar, arrived on the shores of Lordaeron. They traveled to Capital City to meet with Terenas and give warnings of the orcs and the invasion that was to come. Terenas called delegates from neighboring human nations, and after hearing the horror stories from Sir Lothar and his people, once the alliance was formed, each king argued in favor for them gaining command of the new unified army. Terenas pointed out that Lordaeron was the largest kingdom with the most troops, and also he was the one who summoned the rest of them. Although later he did change his mind and supported Anduin Lothar himself for the role instead. Terenas organized the forces of Lordaeron in the defense of Capital City against the onslaught of the Horde during the Second War. After the war, the Alliance forces rounded up surviving orcs into internment camps, headed by Adelius Blackmore, with the only exception being the orc war chief Orgrim Doomhammer, who was kept as a personal prisoner of Terenas. He was hoping to talk to him and hoping that a treaty could be brought between them and the orcs. But this would only last for so long until Doomhammer eventually escaped captivity and fled into hiding. Despite the end of the Second War, peace did not last long before it was discovered that the rift to the orcs' homeworld was expanding. Terenas immediately decreed, in conjunction with the other kings, to rally the Alliance army that would venture into Draenor and end the orcish threat for good. The Alliance expedition, led by Khadgar and Turelion, undertook the invasion of Draenor, eventually succeeding and sealing the Dark Portal from the other side to prevent Draenor's destruction from destroying Azeroth as well. Some years later, Terenas realized that the Alliance would crumble. The first ally to secede were the Elves of Quel'Thalas, as they blamed the humans for not being able to save their burned forest. Gilneas then separated from the whole world behind the Grainmane Wall, and Thoris Trollbane proposed a mass execution of the orcs, but Lordaeron refused to do so. The quarrels between the two friends ended with Stormgrad II seceding from the Alliance. Time wore on as Terenas struggled to hold together the collapsing alliance. Despite all his pleas with the dissident nations, Terenas still had allies he could rely on in the nations of Stormwind, Kultiras, Dalaran, and Ironforge. Meanwhile, War Chief Thrall had been rallying a few remaining orc clans in revolt against the orc internment camps. The New Horde, as it was being dubbed, had brazenly attacked the northern city of Stratholme in an attempt to rescue one of its captured warriors. King Terenas sent Uther and his paladins to quell the war chief's uprising, but the crafty orcs could never be found. Furthermore, King Terenas was disturbed to hear ill news, as rumor had it that a number of supposed death cults had formed in the northern provinces. With his son Arthas becoming the prized protege of Uther the Lightbringer and a paladin of the Silver Hand, Terenas took comfort in Lordaeron's defenders, both new and old. The troubles had only begun with the orcish uprisings through Arathi, as well as the plague spreading from the north. Many of the Alliance representatives, especially the ones from Dalaran, were pleading for quarantine, but Terenas refused, saying that the people of Lordaeron had suffered enough. A mysterious prophet unexpectedly materialized during the Council of the Alliance and pleaded with Terenas to make haste to Kalimdor, or all would be lost.
It is simple. As I have said, the Kirin Tor are already prepared to place the villages under strict quarantine.
I will not institute quarantine without proof of your claims, Ambassador. The people of Lordaeron have suffered enough without becoming prisoners in their own lands.
However, Tyrannus paid no heed, thinking him little more than a madman.
Yet prisoners they are, good king.
It was here that King Tyrannus sealed his fate.
I don't know who you are or what you believe, but this is not the time for rambling prophets. Our lands are beset by conflict, but it shall be we who decide how best to protect our people, not you. Now, be gone!
I failed humanity once before, and I will not do so again. If you cannot take up this cup, then I shall find another who will.
Weeks later, Tyrannus heard of Arthas' strange behavior, including the destruction of Stratholme and his expedition to Northrend. Tyrannus immediately ordered the troops recalled at Uther's request, but no word had been heard from them for months. Finally, Prince Arthas returned, victorious over the evil he had faced in Northrend. All of Lordaeron's capital city rejoiced in festival, celebrating the long-awaited return of their heroic prince. But something was amiss. As he knelt before his father, a dark voice flooded Arthas' thoughts. He rose up, drew his sword, and approached the throne. Taking his father by the throat, Arthas drove the dark rune blade, Frostborn, through his heart.
What is this? What are you doing, my son?
Succeeding you, father.
Thus did Tyrannus of House Menethil, king of Lordaeron, die at the hands of his own son, bringing an end to not only his reign, which had lasted for 50 years, but also the kingdom of Lordaeron itself. Here lies King Tyrannus Menethil II, last true king of Lordaeron. Great were his deeds, long was his reign, unthinkable was his death. May the father lie blameless for the deeds of his son. People can still go to the tomb to mourn their lost king, but the tomb itself lies empty. Although a second secret memorial does exist on the island in Stormwind Harbor, behind the lighthouse. With no body to bury and Lordaeron infested by undead, Tyrannus' crown was recovered, likely by refugees of Lordaeron, and there it lies buried, only confirmed by Flynn Fairwind and Matthias Shaw, but still kept secret, as the plaque reads, "May the bloodied crown stay lost and forgotten."